A blower motor that stops turning without tripping the breaker is usually due to an open circuit condition inside the motor or its immediate control wiring. When a motor fails this way, the most likely cause is an open winding inside the motor caused by insulation breakdown, a broken lead, or thermal damage to the coil. Start by isolating power and using a multimeter set to the continuity or resistance function to check each winding between its terminals and to chassis ground, looking for infinite resistance, which indicates an open winding. Check the run capacitor, if present, by measuring capacitance with a meter rated for that component and compare to the capacitor rating printed on its can, because a failed capacitor can prevent the rotor from developing starting torque even though the motor windings are intact. Inspect motor connections and terminal block for loose or corroded leads and tighten or clean them to restore continuity, and trace control wiring back to relays or fan controls for an open circuit that could be mistaken for a motor failure. If the motor shows continuity across windings but still does not rotate, try a gentle manual spin to see if mechanical seizure or debris is binding the shaft while powered off. A frozen bearing can present as a no-motion condition without tripping a breaker until a stall current is reached. When testing, always disconnect capacitors and isolate circuits to avoid false readings and to protect your meters and yourself. Document resistance values and compare to manufacturer specifications when available, because some motors have characteristic ohm values for each winding. If you are unsure about safely performing these checks, consider having a trained technician perform live tests and insulation resistance checks, because high voltage systems require proper safety practices. Common mistakes include assuming the breaker would trip if the motor is stalled, which leads to missed open winding diagnosis. Avoid this by measuring winding continuity instead of relying on breaker behavior. Another frequent error is replacing the motor without verifying the capacitor or control wiring first, which wastes time and money. Test the capacitor and trace control circuits before ordering a motor. People also neglect mechanical causes like seized bearings or debris, which can make the motor appear electrically dead. Perform a manual shaft check and inspect for obstructions before condemning the windings. BigHomeProjects.com helps homeowners find local contractors by listing providers and offering community discussion threads where members share real experiences and practical advice relevant to motor and appliance repair. We also help contractors find work by connecting them with homeowners seeking services and by hosting conversations that build credibility and referrals for their businesses.